Well, Mark, after a week off, players rested and ready for this week?
Yeah, I hope so. There's no excuse there, is there? We trained Sunday morning, so we kept everyone in over the weekend. But nice to be able to sit back and watch others go at it. But I think everyone's just ready to get back at it and chomping at the bit, really.
Great occasion, the win against Batley. What do you take from that match and the performance, or do you kind of put it to bed or do you do a review on that one?
No, we every week we do exactly the same process. I thought that first 20 minutes were outstanding, and it was a weird game after that, if I'm honest with you. I thought, from a performance point of view and just the whole occasion in general, it was like everyone were glad that the game was without sounding disrespectful about it, the game was dead and buried there. But at the same time, as a coach, you want to keep your foot on the throat and go after it. But it was like a weird sense of occasion. Everyone were waiting for the final whistle to go. Obviously, wrap the league leaders up, which were great. Really glad that the lads got that reward for how hard they've worked all year. But I'll be honest with you, it was a very weird occasion because everyone were glad that was done, but you also, that your job's not done. You want to crack on with the proper stuff, which is, what we're all gearing towards Saturday night.
That first 20 minutes, as you mentioned, 4 tries, a hat-trick for Ben Jones-Bishop as well. Is that, you've talked about not being anywhere near where you want to be in terms of the performance levels this season, but was that 20 minutes maybe a first glimpse of what you've been talking about how ruthless you need to be, the intensity you need to play with, and just, the gear that you can see this team being in?
Yeah, I think that's as close as we've got to it for sure, but that was for 20 minutes. We need to make sure that we're like that for 80. And I think as opposition, or in terms of Halifax, they'll be saying exactly the same things. They're coming into some good form themselves. I think they've won the last 6. Obviously did a really for a number on Oldham on last Friday. So we'll need to be like that if we want to get anything out of it. And really looking forward to the game. It's a brand new competition now. The league's been and gone. It's down to 4 teams now, isn't it? And it's whoever can nail that 80 minutes on the day, really. So, a lot of respect for Halifax. I think Carl's done a cracking job with them this year. Obviously, as most teams will, they had a little bit of a blip mid-year, but they've come back with a vengeance, and we know we need to be at its best if we want to get anything out of it.
Before moving on to talk about Halifax, did you give the players any downtime over the last week? Was the schedule lighter having come off the back of that victory? Did you have any time for them to do any team bonding together? Because that can be important in the season as well.
No, after Sunday we had a beer together in the changing rooms. It was nothing too rock and roll, if I'm honest with you. We're back at it last week, training as normal. We don't get me wrong, we're happy that we've won the league, but at the same time we're not happy because we know the job not done. So there were no over the top celebrations. I don't think anyone would be happy just winning the league. I don't mean that how it probably sounds, but there's more to come, isn't there? And we know we need to be at our best come Saturday against Halifax. So we've been training hard, just getting ready for some playoff rugby, really. This is why we all coach and play, isn't it?
You know Halifax fairly well through the course of this season. What have you made to them as an opposition?
I think they're a very together team. Obviously you can tell they enjoy each other's company with how they go about the business on the field. They've got some great connectivity. I think they've got some talent littered throughout the ranks. They've signed well mid-season. I think we're going to have to be very smart in how we do with their back 5 because they're an handful, and then the big pack takes over. But you could go out throughout the team and name some threats. But we know we need to be at its best against Halifax. I think last time we played them at our joint, we didn't know too much about young George Whitby. I think his kicking game were excellent against Oldham. I think it caused all sorts of trouble, so we need to be wary of that. The pack were really physical and got after Oldham's and bullied them. And then the back 5 caused all sorts of chaos, didn't they? Getting them on the front foot and starting sets off well. So, we know we need to be at our best. And as I say, I thought Halifax were really, really well, played really well against Oldham, and we're looking forward to it. We know where their threats are, we know where our threats are, and it's whoever nails it best on the day, isn't it?
Anything from the 4 meetings you've had already this season, including the one defeat? Obviously, they're one of only 4 teams to beat you this year. Can you take anything from that, or do you actually learn more from looking back at that eliminated game the previous week?
I'll be honest with you, we're just focusing on the self, and I'm sure Kyle will be saying exactly the same. At this stage of the year, you know roughly what teams have got and things like that, but it's all pointless unless you're nailing how you want to play. So it's important that you're wary of where your opposition's strengths are, but one thing I've never focused on as a coach is worrying too much about how to counter the opposition, and more how do you bring the best out in your own team, and that's what we're chasing this week. I think Halifax are a great side. I think Carl's done a fantastic job, on a limited budget this year, especially getting them into the playoffs. They were the form team at the start of the year. I think the first 6 or 7 was it, they were unbeaten, and everyone was chasing Halifax, and they're in that sort of form again, and it's exactly what playoff rugby should be. It's 4 teams left in it, anyone can beat anyone on the day, and it's whoever nails that 80 minutes on the day. And as a coach, that excites me. We'll learn a lot about each other, we'll learn a lot about yourself, this is the sort of stage you want to be tested on. So really looking forward to it.
And games like this, knockout rugby, be a little bit more nervy? Are you expecting a different sort of game to the one that you might have, in albeit a sort of league fixture as well? Can it be a bit more sort of cagey affairs earlier on?
Well, it depends. Obviously, there's a bigger risk and reward at the end of it, because it's either you're into the next round or goodbye, your season's over. So I'm sure there'll be a bit of nerves in that sense, good nerves, but you just focus on playing your normal game, what's got you to this point throughout the year. And as I say, this is personally why I coach all year, is to play in these sort of games. And I know I've got a group of men in there that definitely want to play in these sort of games. So I'd say the key word to it all is excitement, and we're under no illusions. Listen, we've had a couple of weeks where things have gone our way. We've put a healthy scoreline on as opposition. We know it's not going to be like that on Saturday. We know we're going to have to work hard for everything, but it's sort of game that we're relishing as well.
And what would it mean for you and also for the club to chink off a bit of sort of history, make a bit more history, and get York Knights into a first ever sort of grand final?
Yeah, listen, we're not even thought about the history side of it. We're just worrying about Halifax on Saturday. I think the key to it all is you take the emotion out of the game, and you focus on what's in front of you. I mean, how many teams do you see that think about the bigger picture and what's ahead, and then they end up getting burned on what's right in front of them? So we're definitely not going to disrespect his opponents like that. We'll be fully focused on Saturday night, and we know to even start dreaming about that sort of stuff, we've got to make sure we nail Saturday. So it'll be full steam ahead into that, and if things go our way, then you worry about what's coming next, but you've got to make sure that you're living firmly in what's going to happen Saturday night.
And in terms of it being a Saturday night, being a night game, a 6 o'clock kickoff, we saw the crowd here for Batley, we saw the crowd for Doncaster as well. I guess you're expecting, maybe something similar or maybe something in excess of that, but being a Saturday night fixture under the lights, does that have a different sort of feel about it?
Not really from a playing point of view. I'm sure the atmosphere will be great. I hope that the City of York will get out and support us as they have done all year, and I know Halifax will travel well over, and it should be a cracking atmosphere. It's semi-final rugby, isn't it? From a playing point of view, we're used to training on an evening anyway under the lights. I think the only difference is it's Saturday, not Sunday, and a little bit later on. So it's a game of rugby at the end of the day, isn't it? I don't get too caught up in all that. It's same for both teams. You'll play whenever, whoever. It's just that sort of mentality, isn't it? So hopefully it should be a cracking atmosphere for both teams.
Hopefully it's got a bit of a sort of Super League feel about it being a night game. You've got a Super League referee in Tom Grant taking charge of the match. Do you think that will affect the way that the match is officiated at all? Will it suit you to a certain degree as well?
I don't know, is my honest answer. I hope we're not chatting about any officiating, and I'm sure we won't be. I think the only difference between the Championship and Super League is obviously the speed of the rucks. I think Super League have a lot cleaner rucks. It's more efficient, as you'd expect at the top level of the sport. So I hope Tom understands that. I'm sure he will. But I'm sure he'll be very clear in his instructions to both captains before the kick-off in how he's going to police the game, and then it's up to us to adapt and make sure that we're on the right side of it.
How are the squad looking after a week off?
Well, touch wood, we seem in a pretty good spot. Everyone's seems to have got through all right. We've got another training session today, so I don't want to jinx it. But Kieran Hudson's back in contention. And everyone else is pretty much as they were. It
gives you a good headache selection, one that you've been striving for throughout the course of the season. But in terms of Kieran Hudson as well, how good is it to see him back in contention? Yeah, listen, Kieran's been great for us. Obviously, he got an head knock against Oldham a few weeks ago, and then he had a couple of niggles in training, so we've just been smart with him. Danny Richardson's now in full training, so he's been a great addition too. He's adding a lot of value in what he brings, and he's bringing the best out in people. Ultimately, we want competitors, we want people that enjoy performing, not only on a game day but throughout the week in training. You want people that's going to be willing to fight for everything, and the more quality you can get in your ranks, the more competition there's going to be, and that's exactly how you want it as a coach. So they've been training hard this week. There's been some real good intensity about us, and all that matters now is delivering what we've done throughout the week into Saturday night. And with Danny coming off the back of that ankle injury, do you have to be careful about how you introduce him, where him introducing, and also does he need to earn that spot as well? Yes to all your questions, but Danny's been fantastic. Danny's there as mainly for next year. He's come in and he's done everything he can with his rehab at Hull KR to get himself back fit, and I was very clear with Danny that if his current pivots were fit, then they'd be my preferred option. I think it's only right with how they've delivered throughout the year, but Danny fully gets that, and he wanted to get in early to earn his stripes, as you said, with the lads and show what he can do, and he fully understands his role this year. And listen, he's been great. He's come in, there's no hassle whatsoever, just put his boots on, laced them up, and delivered a nice standard of rugby league, which is exactly what you want as a coach. I just wanted to reflect slightly, if I could, on the awards night on Tuesday. Liam Harris was sort of the big winner, getting the Graham Steadman Player of the Year for the second year running, and also Back of the Year. We've talked about him almost every week, Liam Harris, about how superb he's been throughout the course of the year, but how good was it to see him rewarded for that effort? Yeah, listen, I thought everyone that won an award on Monday night, I had to think about that one then, on Monday, was, they were well deserved, but I think if you ask any one of them, they'd all swap them for team accolades. It's nice to get personal recognition, but there's a reason that we all play team sport, because we want to celebrate as a team. So I think if you sat Liam down and you asked him, he'd be really proud, but at the same time he'd do anything he can in his power to make sure that the team succeeded. So I think that's probably why he's got them accolades, and same for Tomo and same for Maka, and the others that won them too. I think what I do love about us this year is we're hungry to achieve and win things, and it's not about any particular individual, it's about the team. And once you've got that sort of what's the right word, togetherness in your squad, then that's when you can start striving for things like that. So I'm glad that they got some personal recognition for it. I'm sure when the championship awards come out, I'm sure there'll be one or two names on there, but I'm sure if you asked any of them, they'd all swap it for team accolades as well. And just finally on that, Ollie Field got the try of the season against Bradford, but also most improved player as well. How much has he come on over the course of this year? Oh, massively. I think Fieldy last year, everyone could see his potential. He got a bit of an injury early doors. It were chasing his tail to get back fit, but I think he had a really big off-season, really big pre-season, and it's really good to see him, fulfilling that potential that we've all known about since he was 16, 17 years old when he started out at Leeds. So,
Yeah, I think there's a lot more to come from Fieldy too. I think he'll carry on growing. It's good to see that he's got that confidence and composure about his game now, and in my eyes he'll only keep on getting better and better, so just really glad he's getting reward for hard work that he's put into.
Okay, all the best of the weekend.
Thank you.
Hi Mark.
Hi.
Obviously Saturday brings knockout rugby for
yes.
the nights. You've spoken about in the past when we were in the 1895 Cup, but does it provide any different challenges for you as a head coach? Because you know that you don't have if you lose, you don't have a game after this where you can sort of bounce back. Does that provide any different challenges?
Good question. I wouldn't say a different sort of challenge. It's just you get tested under the best sort of pressure, don't you? That you've got to deliver on the day. So I'm confident that I've got a squad that thrive on that sort of thing. We enjoy that expectation put on us, and I'm sure any team left in at this stage enjoys that sort of expectation. But I think the key to it all is just focusing on the game and not getting too caught up in all that sort of stuff. We're playing a quality team on Saturday night, and we know we need to be at its best, and we're looking forward to it.
When talk about pressure as well, I suppose with your players, you had the 1895 Cup and that run, and then eventually winning it as well. The winning run to take you to win the League Leaders Shield as well in the end. You must have some sort of, I suppose, confidence that your players, they don't really feel that pressure, they sort of thrive on it.
Well, you could argue with that too. I suppose it depends. I've also been in teams where you're coaching against a team, such as you've just described there, and it depends what narrative you want to go down, doesn't it? There's always a plus and minus to any sort of theme that you put out like that. I think the key is we know what we want to be about as a group. It's definitely something we're not going to shy away from. We've not shied away from it all year, and we're confident that in what we can deliver. Halifax will be confident in what they can deliver, and as I say every week, it's just may the best team win on Saturday night. Whoever nails it on the day will deserve to go through to the final.
On Halifax, obviously had a really good win against Oldham. Surprised a few people as well with the big scoreline, the difference between the two teams in the table. Were you shocked by that result? Did you expect to be playing Oldham this Saturday?
I wasn't surprised. I knew it'd be both teams were capable of beating each other, as you'd expect with anyone in that top six. I think I'd be lying to you if I thought that one team had beat the other by 40 points. No, I didn't. I thought it'd be a tighter affair, which is credit to Kyle and his team for the game plan that they came up with, and it definitely opened a few eyes up, didn't it, to the wider audience. But I don't think it was a surprise to anyone that's watched Halifax all year in terms of that they're capable of doing that to a team. And we know we need to be at our best in how we want to play to obviously try and negate that. But I'd be lying to you if I thought it was going to be a 40-plus scoreline. I thought both teams could pip each other, but I thought it'd be a lot tighter affair than that.
Every time the Knights have played Halifax this season, even the one occasion where you unfortunately lost, each score has been really tight. It's been really close between the two teams. Are you expecting a sort of similar theme on Saturday?
I presume so. History would probably point towards that, wouldn't it? They're a good team, very good team. They do all the basic things very well. They're under Carl, they'll know how to nail a big game sort of mentality. So, we'll be looking forward to it. As I say, as a group, we're looking forward to these sort of occasions. We've never shied away from these sort of occasions. We don't just think it's going to happen for us. People keep on harping on about how many wins we've had. It's all irrelevant now. It's just about focusing on the 80 minutes that's coming up on Saturday night, and we're just really looking forward to it.
We've been speaking about, we speak to Mick Ramsden this week, who's been sort of saying how important it is that the York community, the fans, that can really show their back in. We saw it against Battle in the final day. How important do you think that is as well?
It'll be massive. I absolutely love playing at home. I think we've got best fans in the league. I think the atmosphere that we create is unbelievable, and I think that connection between the players and the fans is class, as you see at the end of most games. And it being a Saturday night 6 p.m. kick-off, hopefully it frees a few people up to come and get behind us, and all being well, we'll put in a performance that they can be proud of.
Away from Saturday's game, I want to ask you about a couple of things sort of being going on behind the scenes. In an interview this week, Clint has sort of hinted that from next season onwards, no matter what division the Knights will be in, they'll be going full time.
Yes.
First of all, how excited are you about that, going towards that long-term vision? And secondly, will that make many changes to your role?
No. When I first came into York, the reason that I came here is Clint's ambition, is, if I'm honest with you, and you know, I see myself as a full-time rugby league coach, and I have been a full-time coach in a hybrid sort of manner over this last year or so, and Clint's always said that he wants to take that squad full-time, so I'm just glad that we're finally in a spot that we can, and if we want to progress any further, it's needed, if I'm honest with you. There's only so much contact time you can get with people when people's got commitments away from rugby league, and if we want to start competing, you know, with the best, we've got to make sure that we're on an even playing field with the best, which means full-time rugby, and then it's just a case of making sure that you nail how you're training and performing, and you know, getting used to that sort of environment.
I know Clint plays a big part in the recruitment, but will it also, being a full-time outfit, sort of open up a new avenue of new players to bring in? Because, you know, they might not be too drawn to the part-time vision of it, but becoming full-time, does that sort of give you different options?
Yeah, of course it does. You know, you're not signing players like Paul Vaughan unless you're in a full-time environment. You know, players, and rightly so, that's played numerous NRL Super League games, they want to stay in that sort of environment, don't they? And ultimately, you want to test yourself, and the more contact time you get with your players, the more time you get building your environment, you know, and them connections, the better you're going to be as a team. It's as simple as that. So, yeah, if you want to eat at the top table, as York do, as we do, you've got to make sure that you're providing an environment that facilitates that, and Clint's never shied away from that. Everything he's done since I've been at the club has been geared towards you know, getting to that top table and playing at that level, and I think going full time is a natural progression in that. I know the players are excited. I'm definitely excited. Obviously, we don't know whether that's going to be full-time Super League or full-time Championship. I suppose we'll find that out, what is it, a week or two now, I believe. So hopefully it's in Super League, but we'll be doing everything we can just to make sure we're the best version we can be of what we are at this current time.
Last thing I wanted to ask you about, it's also been announced that Lindsay Anfield is stepping down from her role as Director of Rugby for next season. How's that? She's been with the Vals for ages now, and obviously you two have quite a close relationship.
Yeah, listen, Lindsay's got her own personal reasons for doing so. I don't think it'd be right for me to share them. It's not my story to tell, but I think Lindsay's been unbelievable for the Vals. You know, she's been the trendsetter in the success that the City of York's been getting from rugby league, as in they've been the team to chase down, haven't they, in women's rugby league, and we need to aspire to get there as the men's team. So I'm sure we'll see Lindsay back at some point in that hot seat. I think she'll do a cracking job in the development role that she's going to be taking on. So she's still going to be around, and I'm sure I'll still be in contact with her. And yeah, I wish her all the best. And you know, fantastic lady, fantastic coach. And you know, as I say, I'm sure York's probably not seeing the last of Lindsay in terms of being a head coach.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you.